Alright, BobalosRex here. And in the background, I'm camping Breezebiter, but this is going to be a discussion video, and I want to discuss Dragonflight events. So, I'm going to exclude the newest event coming in 10.2 because I haven't really tested it, but I want to talk about all the events, the problems with some of the events that are good, essentially the good, the bad, the unsoloable events, world events of Dragonflight. Alright? And so we need to talk about them. So let me go down the list. Let's talk about it kind of like in order of release. So at the beginning of Dragonflight, we had Dragonbane Keep. Everyone knows Dragonbane Keep. You know, do the little assault. Maybe you don't even know Dragonbane Keep. Maybe you've never done a Dragonbane Keep. That's a problem with Dragonbane Keep. But we got Dragonbane Keep. We have the Great Hunts, which are currently hopping on Nara, but I can't see where it is, you know. And you can maybe mention the A-Lug camp, but that's not really an event. That's just a thing. But you got the Grand Hunts. You got the Feast, the Tuskar Feast. I love the Tuskar Feast. And then we had... And that was all we had at the beginning. Alright? Then a patch comes out. We get Elemental Storms. Though, when did they start? I feel like they started a little bit into the expansion. Alright, but then we had Elemental Storms. Oh, they were at launch too. Elemental Storms. We also had Elemental Storms. Alright? Then, next patch rolls along. Then we get the Primalist Tomorrow event, which is called Storm's Fury. Alright, we got that. Then we had the Forbidden Reach up. And I am going to count it as an event, because it is like a thing. Zeskara Vault. But it's like a solo event. And then we had the Primal Storm, which appears at the Froststone Vault. You know that if you want to get the snail. Then we had 10.1 come out, and we got Sniff and Seeking, and we got Researchers Under Fire. Alright. And then another patch comes out. We got Time Rifts. Everyone loves Time Rifts. And then... Oh, we also, with 10.1, we got Fyrakk Assaults. Fyrakk Assaults also came out with that. Time Rifts were after. And then with the new patch, we got Dream Surges, which essentially brings us back to doing old stuff. And then in the new patch incoming, we're going to have the triple event thing, which I haven't really tested, and I'm not going to talk about it, but that's the new event that's coming in 10.2. The bloom, seed bloom, payload, all that stuff. I talk about a little bit in my react. But let's focus on the events we got now. Which ones are good, which ones are bad. So, here's on my amazing list. And these are events I like, whether or not they have some problems with it. So, let's just go with my list so it's easier for me to keep track. Zeskara Vault is my favorite. Zeskara Vault is soloable. It isn't like a whole world event, but it's a cool little thing to do. It's an event for you. I love this Zeskara Vault, how it played out. You can complete it. It's completely solo, and I really like it a lot. Another one I like, it's another solo one. It's the Sniff and Seeking. Alright, something you can do by yourself. It is weekly. You know, you can get extra attempts. You can just ignore it. It's an event that you don't have to do, but it's fun to do. Same thing with the Zeskara Vault. Now, this is an event I like. Alright. But it does have its problems that will become apparent at a later point. And that's the Community Feast. I love the Community Feast. There's an item from it that you can get, that you can sell for a lot, or you can use it in crafting. It's got something cool to go with it. It's thematic, and it's easy to get the weekly done. Alright? And it gives a good rep. Alright? Then on my list, we got the Dream Surges. I actually really love the Dream Surges, how they work. I would say maybe we can get an extra Dream Surge Chrysalis. It's really too much for a character this late. You know, that's literally my only problem with Dream Surges. We'll talk about problems later, but literally I have no issue with Dream Surges. It gets us killing the rares again. Maybe the rares could be a little nerfed, and we'll talk about the rare problem. But I do wish we could get 2 a week, because it's that late in the expansion. Do you really want to inhibit people getting 415s when we got, like, what, a month or 2 till... Or like a month and or a month and a half till the next patch? Is it really that bad? Especially with the item level jump we're going to be getting. But that's neither here nor there. So, Dream Surges, super good. It's a big zone thing, and you got options of how you do it. I really love Dream Surges, actually. Then you got Elemental Storms. You may think, oh, Elemental Storms are boring. Yes, but they're simple. They're soloable. You can farm them at your own pace. The achievements are very easy to get for achievement collectors, for achievement hunters. Super easy to do. You just pick a zone. They're always up. Alright, you don't have to care about a timer. Same thing with Dream Surges, Sniff, and Seeking Zscara Vault. No timers on them. They're just events to do whenever. The Feasts have a timer, but they increase the timer instead of 3 hours, and I like the hour and a half. You know, it could be sooner, but it's not a bad thing. It's not that bad for Feasts. Now let's talk about the ones where I put in the middle right now. So Time Rifts I thought were great, but they have a big problem in their ability to be soloed. Alright? And as the expansion goes on, it will be easier to solo for geared characters to catch up, but a lot less people will be doing them unless they increase the rewards. Alright? So, here's one where they may need a tune. Like, you definitely... How hard... Think about this. Think about this. The next expansion hits. Alright? Oh my god, where is it? The next expansion hits, right? Imagine trying to get this achievement. Solo. Collapsed reality. How do you do that solo? You could be 20 levels higher. How do you do that solo? You can't. It's not tuned for a solo player. And I don't know how they tune it for a solo player. By amplifying, like say there's one person there, each time they do an event, you just see, boom, 1,000 causal. You know, or they complete 7 events and they immediately get, how do you do this solo? You're going to see people next expansion, hey, I need to get this achievement from Time Rifts, please let's do Time Rifts. Time Rifts are very this time and moment, and like, that's even fallen off now too. So, you can solo the boss in the thing. Well, some bosses, alright? I pretty much soloed the Varian boss on my Hunter. But you have to be geared to do that. So the rare in there is somewhat tuned. But it's not the best. It can still murder me. It was still murdering me. I was just able to kite it as a Hunter. So they have to look at that. Like, the rare tuning problem needs to be fixed for solo players extremely bad. Tanks can solo it, extremely geared characters can solo it, but how is a normal person, normal casual, going to solo it until next expansion? And then, like I said, for an achievement like this, how do you solo that? You can't. Alright? Fire-Rack Assaults, though, are better. Fire-Rack Assaults, you can solo. You can get the stuff done for solo. You can... I mean, there's no really achievements for Fire-Rack Assaults. Or, like, they kill the boss. You can slowly kill the boss solo because it's engaged in with other mobs as well. So you can slowly whittle down the Fire-Rack Assault here. Do they have achievements for Fire-Rack Assaults? Not really. I think there's just an achievement to kill the boss, like I said. So that's something you can do easy. Alright? A Fire-Rack Assault will be able to be soloed and they are currently soloable beyond this expansion. All right. I mean, it's a lot easier with more people there, but it's still, Fire Rack Assault still can be done. All right. Especially since you can do it while leveling. Time rifts you can do while leveling, but they're not really lucrative for leveling. But you can. Dream Surges are great for leveling. Elemental Storms you can't, but they're not really for that. Feasts you can do by leveling. That's good. Sniffing Seeking you can do at a lower level, but you can't loot the chests. It's so weird. And Zeskara Vault you can't do at a lower level, nor would you. It's cap. Now, let's talk about the most problematic events. Researchers Under Fire is... I was going to say objectively, and I literally think that applies here. It is objectively the worst, most problematic event. 1, it's time-based. 2, you need a big group to complete it at its best quality. And you can't solo it. There's no way you could solo it until, like, 2 expansions later, when you just one-shot all the mob, maybe next expansion. But even then, how are you going to solo bringing in all the ore? How are you going to solo bringing in all the fragments? And there's so many achievements. Look at this. And I need to get these done because, like I said, this is already getting horrible. And I really need to complete these achievements. And they've already nerfed these achievements before. But the frickin' 50 ore samples, 100 boulders... You gotta get these rares. You gotta complete it fully. You know, you gotta do these stones. Like, so these can kind of be soloed later because it just revolves the ore, which is probably the event part where you get stuck in like 2 expansions. But how are you gonna solo the perfect score? You can't. You're gonna have to have people hopefully looking to do this in like 2 expansions. It's crazy how that one's tuned and how it's a quality system. And then here was the big kicker for me, in my opinion. The fact that, 1, it happens every 30 minutes. You have that 10-minute timer to do all the events. And then it just is, like, done there. So it's either you get it or you don't. You know? And the 415 gear you get from it cannot be converted to tier. Ridiculous. Researchers Under Fire has so many problems with it. It does have a mount drop, so it does promote people doing it. But as people get it, they're done. They're never going to go back to that. Other than for these achievements, which are just really grindy. You know, I need to get that done. I'm close to done. And then a lot of these are character specific, so you got to focus it on one toon. You know, it does give good rep. But there's no way to solo it in the future. Now, the next one up on this list of problematic ones is Great Hunts. Now, they can be soloed. They are a lot easier with a group. And I used to AFK them with how much they were done. But they're not done anymore. No one does them. They're not good for leveling. And some of the mobs, like there's a water elemental mob that if you run into on the Great Hunt, alright, can't do it. Can't do it. This water elemental just blasts your face. It's crazy how some of those mobs are tuned. There's no way you can solo it for any toon that would care about doing a Great Hunt. Alright? And then if you're like overgeared, why are you even doing a Great Hunt? You know, because in like 2 expansions, yeah, you'd be able to solo Great Hunt. But we still have these freaking achievements for them. Here, let's bring up. Some of them are easy. Alright. I mean, it's like you got the 25 hunt, or kill 25 elites in a Great Hunt. You got the Fine Hemet. That's a good one. Hemet Jr. That's an easy one. You can do that. But yeah, just, they're time-based too. The timing on the Great Hunts isn't too bad. And then the fact that you can repeat them was great. But now that no one's doing them, they are still kind of hard to solo. You know, like I said, for toons that want to do it. And it's just like a dead event. That's the Dragonbane Keep problem. It's soloable, You know, they have the toy you can get from it, but no one's doing it anymore. It's not lucrative. You don't get much. And it is a pain if you are trying to solo it. You know? Storm's Fury is one that you can't really solo. If you need to do Storm's Fury for that stupid chicken mount, you can't do it alone. There are still groups that do it, thankfully, right now. But in, like, an expansion, how can you as a player, you're 10 levels higher, you can one-shot all the mobs. But you have to take 4 points. You take one, you go to take the next. Oh, the other one changed. Oh, crap. Now you gotta go back. Oh, now that one changed back. Oh, maybe you got 2 down. Oh, the other one's changed. How are you gonna do that? How are you gonna do that solo? You can't. You're gonna have to find groups. And like I said, in 2 expansions, that's gonna be horrible. And I really wish they would think about... I don't want them to really restrict how events work, but they should think about how to allow them to be soloable in the future. Like, what they do to allow them to be soloable in the future. You know, we still have the Warfront problem. You can't solo a Warfront. You can't solo queue into a Warfront. You know? Then you got this one over here. The Primal Storm on the Reach. This is the worst one right now. It's time-based. This one is also insanely time-based. It's up for like 4 hours and it goes away for like 6 or something. I don't even know the timing on it, to be real. It is up a lot of the time, but it's still just like a crapshoot whether or not you find a group for it. And then this event on the Forbidden Reach, I think is starting to be able to be soloed if you can kill the elementals, but it bugs out a lot. It doesn't reward anything useful right now, you know, other than the ooze for the snail. And I think that is still a pretty buff rare that you have to kill in the first place. And that leads into the major problem with a lot of this stuff is rares scaling too high in some of these areas. Forbidden Reach rares, Zarlek rares need to be nerfed. They're not the big deal anymore. Emerald Surge rares are about... Dream Surge rares are buffed just right currently. And because the Dream Surge is zone-wide, it's for leveling, they do need to make sure... I think they should make the rares more viable for leveling experience, though. They should be able to scale, except for the rares in the big area. So maybe... So like the Dream Surge here, these rares should all be easily done by alts leveling and incentivize alts to hit up these rares. Alright, the rares here, I guess they not necessarily need to be lowered, but they should think about how to keep the rares. They need to scale the rares for the amount of people better. Alright, I get that you don't want one person to blow up a rare, but if you're going to have a healthy rare, so it takes time, you need to lower the damage of the rare. Alright? A normie, a normal casual player, should be able to go to the Forbidden Reach and kill the rares. Alright? By themselves at this point. Without having to be mythic geared or heroic geared. Alright? Because tanks can still do it, especially if they're geared. Probably some high level DPS could theoretically do it, but these rares need to be lowered. Currently, the strat is to summon the profession rares, and that's the rares you kill on the Forbidden Reach. But that sucks. You see these freaking rare markers. What if someone doesn't know? That's what my stepdad ran into. He rolled up to the Forbidden Reach like, this place is cool. Oh, there's a rare. I'm dead now. And then he was like, what the hell? Like, he was so confused, and he's like, I guess I suck or something. And it's just like, why can't the rares be tuned down now? Alright, we're going into we are in 10.1.7. This was a 10.0.7 feature. This needs to be scaled down. No reason people should be running into those rares thinking, oh, I can kill this rare. This is a rare. No, I can't. I know Blizzard tuned it up for groups, but that's not the case anymore. But yeah, so rares need to be tuned down. And I talked about the events. Oh, here's one that I didn't mention this for the feast, but feast will be unsoloable. And you may be asking, what do I mean? If you're trying to do the achievement Leftovers Revenge, you need to do that now. Because in 2, 3 expansion, how are you going to get a group? I need a group for a feast. Because you can only get so much so quickly. There's going to be no way to solo the feast for the achievement. Alright? It's crazy. I wish... I don't... Like, the only way to fix the feast is to give you a million score for a solo player. Maybe they'll do that next expansion. Because the feast is still popping right now. So you can still get a Leftovers Revenge feast on, like... It's the weekly for aiding the Accord, and it's early in the week. Everyone wants to go for their flavor pockets. You can get a feast that completes. But down the line, if they don't keep making... If they don't make some of these older events lucrative, they're just not going to be done. And it's a shame because I really like a lot of these events, too. And a lot of them work and are, like... good to be able to do in the future. Like I meant, even the Prime Elemental Storms can be soloed, like I said. You know? So I just hope that Blizzard takes a look at these events and tries to help them be soloable in the future. And hopefully the Emerald Dream event is soloable. But it is going to be quality based, so I feel like it may run into the Researchers Under Fire problem. But we'll have to see. Anyways, I've ranted on long enough about world events. But overall, I love the system. I love having world events like Dragonflight. I love the world events that they've given us. But I just wanted to talk about the problematic ones, the ones I love, and in between. So thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.